Good evening, everyone. It is 6 o'clock, so we're going to get right to it. Thanks for being here. Seems like we're still moving some supplies around. Get cozy. We'll give people more time to come in, and once we get to the activities, if we need to rearrange tables, we will a little bit. Well, it's interactive. It's an interactive conversation. We're not playing name games or anything like that. No, not like that. No, it's more intimate at your table. More discussion, not just me talking at you. Although I like to kick it off just to get us in the right frame of mind. I'm Natasha Adams, the superintendent here at West Clermont. And this is a picture of our board. I will say yesterday, Tammy Spencer, Tina Sanborn, Dan Romano, and myself, we all went up to Columbus to advocate with our legislators. We got to meet with Senator Johnson, Representative Adam Byrd, and Representative Gene Schmidt to talk about what we're going to talk about tonight, which is school finance and where West Clermont kind of stands in all the impact of the governor's budget and the proposed legislation out there. So I would encourage everyone to take note of what you're learning tonight and then paying attention to what you're seeing in the news and what you're hearing from Columbus, because this is a very stressful time in public education when it comes to the state of schools in Ohio and how they're being funded. Every school district has their own story. They have their own unique needs and challenges, so it's even hard to compare like what our story is compared to Batavia, compared to Loveland, compared to Milford. And that's why it's so important that each community kind of understand what's unique about their funding and how it works in their schools. And that's one of the reasons that we're here tonight. I want to say a special thank you to our partners. I'm not sure which pizza we had tonight. Who helped us out tonight? All right, so thank you, La Rosas, and all the partners who continue to come out and serve with us. We truly value the community voice and the voice of our partners as we plan for the future of West Clermont. And I just want to thank you for being here on behalf of the whole board. We're going to watch a little video. This is our students from Willowville Elementary.
Welcome to today's Warrior Way podcast. I'm Marin.
I'm Avery.
I'm Richie.
And I'm Emma.
On our podcast, we like to focus on leadership and the leadership skills that people use in their career.
4 fifth graders at Willowville Elementary are learning the art of podcasting, leadership, and communication skills thanks to an innovative partnership with high school teacher Brandy Kelton and 2 of her high school communication interns. Here's an excerpt from their latest episode with former Bengals quarterback John Kitna.
Stephen Coughlin notes the importance of the 7 habits of highly effective people. Be proactive, begin with the end in mind, put first things first, think win-win, seek first to understand, then to be understood, synergize, and sharpen the saw. How do these habits play out in the field?
Yeah, I mean, it's less of leadership in the NFL happens on the field as much as it happens off the field. Your leadership traits, the relationships you build, carry you when you get on the field. When people ask me about leadership, what do I think is most important is being who you are. You can't be someone else. People see right through that. You have to be very authentic. And then secondly, being a servant leader and trying to lift others up.
Now, let's hear from the students about their experience interviewing John Kitna.
It was really exciting, and not everybody gets to do some things like this. Even if you are famous, that doesn't mean that every part of your becoming famous was that, I guess, glamorous or I guess happy.
Well, when I was in the bus, I was very nervous and I was very jittery. But now that I've gotten done with the podcast, I now realize that it's not that bad anymore. I learned that he is a very normal person and that sometimes even the most highest people and the most famous people are still normal people.
Being part of the John Kenner episode was really fun. It was fun seeing the kids be super excited about it. They had a good time, and so did I.
This is our first group of students we've ever had come into the place, so this has been fantastic. I love their questions, and I don't know, there's something adorable about fifth graders interviewing this massive 6'5", 6'6" John. It's like, it was pretty funny to watch, but they asked great questions, and the answers we got were really fantastic, so it was a good time.
Let's take a step back and see how the podcast came to be what it is today.
So I emailed each elementary principal just saying, hey, I have a team of interns and we would like to help you. What do you want to do? And Mr. Jones replied back with he was interested in starting a podcast. And I said, awesome. I'd never done a podcast before or produced one, so it was just kind of a grassroots, just looking things up, getting some basic equipment, and it's gone really smoothly. I'm very happy with the partnership it's created, and I think that these fifth graders are going to have such great, they're so personable, and their communication skills are just awesome for being in fifth grade. So the elementary students and the high school students, I think they get a taste of what the real working world is like. For example, the high schoolers, they kind of come and go from school. That wasn't my high school experience, but they're treated like professionals.
When I first heard about the podcast class, I was most excited to explore something new. I mean, this is something that I've never done before. And especially when I found out that I would be working with fifth graders, because that is something that I am used to. So it was kind of, mixing something old with something new, and I was really excited about it.
These fifth graders, they're responsible for sending out the Google invites and calendar invites, just like we use as adults in the working world. These fifth graders are doing that as well. I remember when Mrs. Adams was our first guest, I said, well, you're gonna have to start checking your email now. And after they sent that first calendar invite to Mrs. Adams, Richie actually, he emailed me on a Saturday. So he was checking his email after hours, and he says, oh my gosh, she said yes. He was so excited that our superintendent had responded that she would be the first guest on his podcast.
The skills I've learned so far, mostly the 7 habits, and I've been working on eye contact, so I have that easier. And also I've been trying not to be as fidgety, because usually when I'm sitting still for a while, I just have to
I enjoy mentoring these students because I think that it's something that they can use a lot in the future. Everybody knows our world is becoming more and more digital, and this class and teaching them these, like learning how to use a camera, or even just talking to people that they don't know personally, helps them with a lot of skills in the future, and I really enjoy setting them up for that.
So Mr. Jones and I have already talked about next year, and the fifth graders that we'll have next year, we're going to pull them into the fold before the end of the year this year. That way next year we can get started with having guests on the show faster, and so more episodes.
I would like the future to become more kids on this podcast, and this podcast grow more, and for other people, for it to get more views and other people don't know about the 7 habits.
To me, West Clermont Strong means all of the individuals, whether it's people at the main office, our administrators, our teachers, our students. We all work together to highlight all the great things that are happening in our district, whether it's in the community or within a school building. And I think the part of that strong part too is sending students out, or adults out into the world that have these strong skills that we've helped build by all of these different experiences that wouldn't be possible without everybody working together and having such a strong team, especially at the leadership level.
What West Clermont Strong means to me is all the new opportunities that there are at the school, that what other schools don't have. I think we have a lot more programs for kids to join in, have a better future.
West Clermont Strong means trying your best every day. I feel like a lot of the students here
push themselves, to go past their limits or what they think their limits are, to step out of their comfort zone, and it's something that I really enjoy. Connecting with all of my peers and, hearing about what they're doing academically or socially to just step out and do something new.
If you're interested and want to watch the full episode of the Warrior Way podcast with guest John Kitna, follow the QR code on your screen.
When you see a video like that, what are some of the words that come to mind, that just pop in your mind immediately, that you feel or that you're thinking about? Just anybody. What comes to mind when you see something like this? Fun. What else? Innovative. Leadership. Thanks, though, for those of you who are brave playing along. I'm so proud of these children, what they've accomplished working together from high school to elementary. We've been able to feature our program, Leader in Me, which is a internationally known program. Steve Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People are being taught to our preschoolers all the way up to the seniors in high school, and really all the adults that work with the children. And so it's just been phenomenal. And for these 5th graders kind of take off with it and put some of their leadership into practice has been incredible. And this is just one example of many that are happening throughout our schools that we just really wanted to share with you tonight and thought it would be a great way to kick off. We also have some other celebration. We are on the rise as a school system. Our performance continues to grow. This year we were 4 stars out of 5 and very close to 4.5 stars, just a couple students away from to receiving that high mark. We had 5 out of 5 stars for gap closing. That means we're meeting the needs of students with diverse needs or from unique populations in our school system. And we are the top 11% in value added across the state of Ohio. And that means, for us, it means that our students are growing on average more than a year's worth of growth, which is an incredible feat. It's one of the hardest measures to attack, and we're top 11% in the state. We just found out recently some other good news that I want to share with you. We have 2 schools that were added to the list of Positive Momentum Award schools. That is out for a shout out for Summerside Elementary. Anybody here from Summerside tonight? And Holly Hill. I know we have some Holly Hill folk here tonight. Congratulations to both schools who were added to the list of Willowville, West Clermont Middle School, and the whole school district were named last year. Did I miss anybody? I think I got everybody. So pretty incredible that 4 of our 9 schools have been listed as Momentum Award winners. That means you get 3 whole points higher than you got the year before, and that you're at least getting 4s when it comes to growth. It's an incredible achievement, and we are so proud. I also want to announce that this is another hot off the press. I think it was just released in the last day or two. I think there were 47 schools, elementary schools, in the state of Ohio who were designated with the Governor's Science of Reading Literacy Award. And one of our schools were named in that list of the 47. So drum roll, please. Willowville Elementary. So congratulations. Mr. Jones is here to represent. So great job, Willowville. So there's just great things happening all around in West Clermont. We're happy to have you here to celebrate with us tonight. We are District on the Rise, as I've said. We've worked hard to engage with you. This is very important for our board, that we are transparent about what's happening in West Clermont, that we have 2-way conversations, that we're listening, that we're learning. And one of the things that's emerged over our last couple years with the engagement is that it's been kind of identified that not every kid in West Clermont gets the same learning environment. They don't get the same learning experience because where they live, where their home address is, determines the kind of environment that they have. And so that has been a big topic of conversation and something that we aim to change. That's why we have an issue on the ballot for May 6, 2025. And what we believe can be possible as we continue to work together as one community is that we can continue to be on the rise. We can continue to get strong results. We can continue to modernize our learning, modernize our workforce, modernize all of our learning environments, experiences for kids, and really grow really strong partnerships with our community and our families. You can see here a timeline that reflects the facilities over the course, from 1960 to today. And at the top of the line, we call out West Clermont Middle School. And even though it's had some additions and some improvements over the years, it is our oldest school. It was formerly Amelia High School. Clough Pike had a major renovation in 2020. They were stripped down to their bones, basically, and built back. But so that's why they're in the 1968 list, but they're in a totally different category when it comes to learning environments. Merwin Elementary, 1969, and Holly Hill Elementary, 1982. And we've been using in our conversations this metaphor of blazing new trails. That's what our strategic plan theme is, and we've said we want every student to be able to create their own path so that they can really create the desire or create the future that they desire, and that we want to be able to prepare them through these pathways for anything, not just something. And when you look at what we need to do for students, that means there has to be certain conditions set in the school district. And so we use the metaphor of this Jeep to represent the trails that the district needs to blaze as a district and community. And we have to have our 4 tires in alignment. Those tires are the learning environments, our workforce, and our partnerships. And when one of those tires is out of alignment, we have issues. And that one big issue for us right now is our environment, because we have space issues, we have aging buildings, we have things that are not up to speed like it is here at Amelia Elementary. And so we just want to call this to your attention today, because as we sit here in this beautiful cafeteria, this place was opened in 2010. It's hard to imagine that there are problems when you're sitting in a place like this, because things are really well taken care of here, and there are some great environments, even though there is one in particular, and we'll talk about it later, that we'd like to improve here. So the challenges that we hope to solve and that have been discussed by our community advisory team, because as you know, everything that we have done over the last couple years has been community driven, bringing people together like you in rooms like this, discussing the challenges. And so all of our buildings have been addressed except for those 3 that I mentioned earlier. And we have a size issue that's bubbled up in terms of efficiency and maximizing our resources. We have an elementary down the street that serves about 240 students in their elementary in K-5. And here we have over 800. So we have from 240 to 800 and everything in between. And so you'll find as part of our proposal is to kind of equalize that. Amelia will always be a little bit bigger than everybody else, but the proposal has us at about 600 students per building to spread our students out across the system and to maximize our resources plus space. And I'll add, do any of you have students in the middle school right now? Anybody? Okay, so you know that it's a huge campus. We have 6th through 8th graders there. It's the largest middle school in the state of Ohio, working inside of an environment that was not designed for them. And whenever you're inside of an environment that is not designed for the purpose of that particular age group, there are automatic challenges. They're not impossible to overcome, because clearly we're in those environments every day making the best of it, but there are challenges in supporting the developmental appropriateness of what a middle school level learner needs. Then you add to the fact that the building, it starts at 7 a.m., that adds additional challenges to what they face. And so we'd really like to, in our future plans, address both of those issues. Right now, we've already talked about the age of our facilities. Now we can talk about the overcrowdedness. In elementary, we've had to add modulars at Merwin Elementary to create some space. We are using and maximizing every stage, every closet, every nook and cranny of every single building is being maximized at this point. And we have anticipated enrollment growth coming down the line that we need to be preparing for. We also, across the board, want to improve our safety. I'm not here to say that safety is not strong in our district, because we have certainly taken some great lengths to improve safety, but it's a continuous improvement effort that we never just want to settle on and just kind of rest on our laurels. We want to always be continuously improving that. So we want to improve the safety. We want to make sure that the technological advances, I know many of you teach here at Amelia Elementary, and your technology is starting to show its age a bit. You go into classrooms and it's hard to see the board, see what's on there. And they're getting a little bit glitchier. I was through my walkthrough a few weeks ago, I had some students who were really having some login issues. And so that is something that we need to address across the school system. As I mentioned before, this has been a community engagement process that began with, we had tours in every single school building. We had town halls in every single school. We continue to have conversations. We brought the Citizens Advisory Team together to build the strategic plan, and then we brought the Community Advisory Team together to create a master facilities plan. And I know that we have members of both of those teams here tonight, and I just again want to thank you for your service, thank you for your time in creating these plans. This is just a reminder of the process. I'm not going to get into the weeds of that right now. The proposal on the table that I would just want to make sure everyone understands is, oh, sorry, this is the original proposal. Sorry, I always forget that it's still in there. We're going to skip past this. This is old news now. We are one of the fastest growing counties in the state of Ohio. You see that at every turn and every neighborhood as there's bulldozers everywhere and traffic circles, and things are changing here in Clermont County. So we want to make sure that we are providing a very state-of-the-art kind of experience here in our schools. Our enrollment is predicted to go up by 1,650, and that's 2033. It's about 1,000 by 2030. So the bulk of that growth is coming here in the next 3 years based on our numbers. You can see that here by the black line representing the cohort of students that are already in the system. The blue line represents the dwellings, the developments that we know are on the books to put a shovel in the ground if there isn't one there already and bring more students into our school system. The red isn't obvious. It is showing us that we are running out of space in every single elementary, and it's just a reminder of it's not just a pocket here and there, it is really at every elementary school. I want to hit very quickly, because this is very much in the weeds, but they've taken some real strong efforts as part of the operations team to work with the Ohio Facilities Commission and evaluate every single school and figure out what the needs are. So if nothing happens, if no change happens on May 6th, that doesn't mean that we can do nothing. We'll still have to take action when it comes to maintaining and keeping our facilities. So we just wanted to give you a sense of when it comes to HVAC and electrical alone, the projected cost of that is that $35 million. Roofing, another $5 million. Asphalt, $540,000. Plumbing, another $2 million. And that just gives you the idea of the money that we will need to invest regardless of what happens on May 6th to keep our buildings up to in a certain order. Obviously, you wouldn't have to spend all of that money at one time, but it would become something that we would need to begin, if we're not successful on May 6th, we need to begin saving that money, looking at how we are spending and investing our money so that if we had to start moving money away from the classroom into maintenance and ongoing facilities, then we would have to make that hard choice. So here is the community recommended plan to keep us having positive momentum and moving forward. It is an 80% split proposal. That is 80% local money, 20% Ohio Facilities Commission, that is state money that once we would pass our levy, we would be able to bring that money forward to them and they would match it with 20% of our costs. So it's a great benefit to have that partnership with them. Here is the recommendation. We would move from 7 elementaries to 6 elementaries. As I mentioned before, that's to become more efficient in the size of all our elementaries. Amelia will be a little bit larger than everywhere else, but essentially, even though you see different numbers on the screen there will be roughly 600 students in every single school with a larger capacity. We have a 5-8 middle school that was designed to feel like a large school split into 2 smaller schools. So it will not be like taking West Clermont High School and moving it down the street. It'll have a feel of 2 smaller environments connected together for efficiencies. And then obviously our high school. Inside of the scope of work, we would have an improvement here at Amelia Elementary. We would renovate the library to bring it up to more modern standards. I don't know if any of you have been down to the Cincinnati library to know that libraries today are more than just books and soft places to sit, that they are more innovation hubs, places where you can create and collaborate with one another. We just want to bring those environments up to that more innovative hub of the school. We will do that also at WT, as they were built the same time as Amelia. We'll also have additions planned. WT will have more space added, Clough will have more space added, and Clough will have a library added, an innovation hub just as well. And finally, security and safety updates, technology updates, and furniture updates in targeted ways across the school system. As you can see here, this is just a reminder that 80% of that $194 million will be invested in by our community, and 20% will be given to us by the state. The way this is funded, it's a combination. It's 1.76 from a property tax, and it's 0.25 from an income tax. If you go onto our website, you'll be able to see how how it impacts you specifically. I don't know what I just did. I want to show here the timeline quickly. Are you helping me? Thank you so much. This gives you a timeline to see how things would unfold and how it might affect you personally. So here we are in 24-25. This year's kindergarten class would be the first fifth graders to attend that new 5 through 8 school. So that gives you a sense that everybody in the elementaries will be impacted by this new building. They just won't, they'll be the 6th grade, 7th grade, or 8th grader, they'll be off to the high school. And that's with a ballot issue passage of May 6th. We'll move immediately into design phase as soon as it passes, and that'll allow us to get the improvements at WT, Clough, and Amelia and the district safety going right away. And what that will help us do is deal with the enrollment increases that we're seeing, because it'll keep us from having to purchase modulars because they are short-term fixes. We'll be able to invest in long-term fixes and be more efficient and effective with our money. Through 26 through 29, it'll be more designing and building and figuring out the whole plan, opening up those new classrooms, with ultimately an open of 29-30 for the 5-8 middle school and the pre-K for elementary. We do not have a location for this elementary yet. It is under investigation and study right now as we map the enrollment of the school district to figure out where the most effective and efficient place for it to be, based on where is the growth coming, where does it make the most sense as we spend some time redistricting and redrawing boundaries of the district, moving from 7 to 6. This is another way of looking at the timeline, just with a little less data, but what I want to call into attention here is the fact that those enrollment projections here in green, it's coming in the next 3 years. That's when the bulk of these numbers are projected to come. Again, we don't have a crystal ball. We just have data sets that we've been using over the last couple years that have been very effective and very accurate for us. And so we are working with those, and they've served us well to this point. So again, just gives you another look at how this comes to life. We want to make it clear to everyone that if and during this time that populations grow faster than we can handle or whatever, there will be some short-term mitigations, just like we're doing now, that we will put into play. And those short-term mitigations become things like class size going up because you literally don't have any more room in your building. We may have to add modulars. We may have to have teachers on carts. I know we have that now. We could have to have more teachers moving around. If it becomes very extensive, we might have to look at things like all-day kindergarten. Right now, we offer that in the school district free of charge, and we're only required to do it half-day. So we could look at that as an option. Now, I'll say a little caveat. That's a very unpopular decision because in our school district, when you come into kindergarten, half the students are ready for kindergarten, the other half aren't, essentially. And so it's an uphill climb. So we like to have them here as much as possible so we can ensure the highest level of success. So these kinds of short-term things could become long-term solutions if we aren't successful. And I don't say that to be threatening in any way, shape, or form. It's just these are the realities of a school system when they're growing and they're out of space. And so that's where we would be. Dan, you want to come up and get us started here? Yep. Everyone, this is Dan Romano. He is our treasurer. He is going to get us started here with our activity for the evening. And again, I just want to thank you on behalf of the Board of Education and our team for taking time. You could be anywhere tonight, and you've chosen to be with us to learn a little bit more about school finance, and we truly appreciate it. So thank you.
Thank you. And if I can have that clicker, because I think, am I going to go through this? Let me do something. Okay. I want to go through these options first. Okay. All right, before we get into the table exercises that we're going to do, one of the things that we wanted to talk about and explain related to that facilities issue is that we continued to ask, listen, and respond. And that was really on the financing of these facilities that we talked about, okay? Does the district have options to respond to the willingness and ability of the community, the taxpayers? Given the recent increases in property values, and if you are a homeowner in this district, you know that the 2023 reappraisal of your property values had a significant impact on your tax bills in 2024. We understand that, we recognize that. One of the outcomes of that is that assisted us in moving when we came to the public in 2020 for the emergency levy. One of the commitments was that we would not come back for operating funds. The earliest would be 2024. Because of that reappraisal increase, because of the additional funding to the school district, we're able to stretch that out to 2026, and where and if possible, okay, directive from the board, let's move that to 2027 if we can, okay? So we do understand that and we fully recognize and appreciate the fact that had happened, and that was a hit to a lot of our taxpayers. One of the questions that the board asked, are there other options we can do aside from property tax? What can we do, because we know that was an impact? And how do we, as a district, as we look at that financing, include all stakeholders within this realm? So look kind of at the chart at the bottom. Okay, what were our options? What were some different options that the board would consider as we did that? So, as the superintendent said, the responsibility of the local school district, the 80%, is $154 million, okay? And when you, there's a distinction between raising revenue for operating funds, which are to pay for teachers, for administrators, for support staff, for transportation. That's operating funds, okay? When you do a facility, you're really looking at a facility issue, traditionally a bond issue, okay? And as I described that, traditionally, you have a total dollar amount. You basically, in a property tax, if you're going to go through a property tax, you go to the county auditor and say, hey, if we were to borrow money for 37 years, what type of millage would it take to pay that debt off in 37 years? Very similar to a home mortgage. We're going to borrow something to either build a home or buy a home. We want to pay it off in 30 years or so. Okay, how much does that cost us? And then a traditional way of doing that financing for school districts is a property tax millage, and that would be 3.74 mils based on our total appraised value within that district. We do have an option, and I'll go to the bottom row, of doing a school district income tax. There are two types of school district income taxes. One type is just looking at adjusted gross income, which is wages, earnings on investments, Social Security, all types of income. It's really, when you file your state income tax, it's really looking at that adjusted gross income. A second way that the board considered was, what if it was just earned income tax? What if it was just earnings on wages? So basically, if you work, at the end of the year you get a W-2, and there's some adjustments to that. That's really what would be taxed on a school district income tax. Okay. Board looked at that option, and that option, it would take 0.5%, okay, as a income tax, earned income tax, in order to pay off the $154 million. In accordance with the state, we can't go 37 years, we can only go 30 years on that debt, okay, to do that. That would not include property tax. That is just for residents within the district that have earned income. Then the board went back and looked. We looked. It says, well, what if that was split? How can we minimize both of those types of taxes? How can we minimize a property tax? How can we minimize an earned income tax? So we went back and said, well, what if we just split that in half? we finance $77 million on a property tax, it would take 1.76 mils. If we finance the other $77 million on an earned income tax, it would take 1/4% to do that. All right? So the board looked at that. One other consideration they looked at and talked about, if you just did a property tax, who pays? On a property tax, it's people that own land and buildings and property within the district. Homeowners, agricultural, so farming, commercial, so retail businesses, industrial businesses that make things, right? Manufacturing, okay? And then public utility. Okay, so those 5 categories of stakeholders would end up supporting the property tax. If you just did an earned income tax, who pays on that? Well, who pays on that is residents who have earnings, who are working, okay? So the other consideration the board has is, well, how do we really involve the greatest breadth of stakeholders? How do we involve everybody? And so to keep each of those taxes at a minimum and to get the greatest reach of stakeholders, it looked at doing the combination proposal. 0.25% on the earned income tax, 1.76 mils on a property tax, okay? Again, same thing, the way we developed the facilities plan was go to the community, listen, okay, and respond to it. It's the same way the board came up with the ballot language of financing that proposal, requesting the community to look at that proposal through an earned income tax combined with a property tax to do that. Okay, minimize both of those, get the greatest reach to all of our stakeholders to do that. Okay, we do have, and I have that available tonight. It's on our website, but we put a chart together, and we'll hand these out later. Okay, we put a chart together that if you're a resident and if you're a property owner and or both, okay, you can look at and determine what your total tax responsibility would be if when the May ballot passes. Okay, so that the ability to find out what that is, we do have on the website. We've got that chart here tonight, okay, to do that for you. All right. So there's a chart there, there's a calculation. All of that is on the website, and we have that for you tonight. Okay, so the table exercise that we're going to do. So can I have the table coaches raise your hand? Okay, so at each of the tables with kind of a visual on the table is your table coach who's going to take you through this exercise, okay? Now there's a table coach at the table, there's community members around the table, and one of the things this table exercise is meant to do is for us to give you data and information, and through a series of questions, okay? And with these questions, it's not about being right or wrong. It's really about asking you to contribute your thoughts, okay? What's your opinion? What do you believe? What do you think? What do you know? And as you go through that exercise, you're really helping each other, learn about school finance, okay? The 3 areas we're going to look at is who are our stakeholders? What do they contribute? We're going to look at our sources of revenue. Where do we get our funds from? Okay, who gives us funding? And then 3, how do we spend our funds? And as we look at those last 2 sections, the revenue and expenses, we're going to do some comparisons to other categories of school districts. In our state, we have 609 school districts. And one of the things you'll find out, we all receive money differently. Okay, and we're under the same rules, financial rules of the game, but it's really different for each one of our school districts. How we spend the money, percentage-wise, is pretty similar, but you'll find out that each district has different funds to spend, a different total dollar amount to spend with that. Okay, so again, table coaches, raise your hand. Each of these sections are kind of a little bit timed. Myself or Mr. Gephardt will kind of jump in and let you know when you should be moving from one section to another. There's water over there at the table, cookies if you need to get some nourishment back for that conversation. But please, in order to really help this make successful, okay, you need to contribute and help answer those questions, okay? If you have not introduced yourself around the table, go ahead and do that first. If you have any questions or table facilitators need one of us to help out, they'll let us know and we'll come to the table, okay? So table facilitators, go ahead and begin the tabletop exercise. So for this first one, 10 minutes.
Some Ohio school districts collect taxes on income of those residing within the district. The rates must hit multiples of 0.25% and must be approved by a vote of the district's residents. The ballot language must identify whether the tax is to be calculated on the Ohio adjusted gross income or income per teacher. 212 school districts had an income tax as of January 2020. get them all back in, and so we have to get like payroll. So now I have to backdate and like correct everybody's time, and yeah, my brain was hurting today. Yeah.
We're ready?
Oh, yeah, we're ready. Oh, you can have it.
Okay, I think if I can have your attention, I think everybody got through the exercise or most of the exercise with that. Okay, do you have anything to add right now? All right, so two things right now. So first of all, was that exercise helpful? Okay, if it wasn't, please let us know. Okay, because we can add it. Two is if we just went around each table, okay, and what's kind of your conclusion about A, school finance, B, about how it impacts West Clermont? So, table here. Anybody? What's the story here that you guys saw? Go ahead.
I was reading my questionnaire.
We need more money.
You need more money, okay?
So I love that you guys are petitioning at the state level.
All right. Yeah, we have to be involved at the state level to advocate for what? For ourselves, right? Okay, to do it and let our legislators know that. Okay. What about the table over here in the corner? What was your impression of what you went through? Enlightening. Okay. How so?
I would say, like, as someone who's like really young and hasn't seen a lot of like the breakdowns of the numbers, I'd say it's like just really important as a teacher in the district and kind of thinking about what this change is going to look like as someone who might potentially be here for a long while. It's good information to know.
So who's going to be here for a long while? Yeah, I meant I eliminated potential. All right. All right, good. No, that's good. All right. What about this table? Impressions on it?
I think our biggest takeaway is we can't do this alone.
Okay.
We need the community. We need everyone in the West Clermont area to help us.
So it's important to have all those stakeholders involved.
You can't do it just one stakeholder at a time.
I'll give you three things. We need to let.
Please use that. Yeah.
We need to let more people know that, in my opinion, now seeing this, we had a very efficient 2019 to 2025. We need to do things to keep more of the teachers that are age 20 to 30, because that's one thing I saw in the averages and pays. Keep more of the 20 to 30-year-olds, which is one of the reasons, in my opinion, that the efficiency went up with less dollars. Just because I know some of the younger people probably have a more aggressive way of teaching. And the third thing is we need to get this to other people that, I'm going to guess 80% of the people either have kids or grandkids. How do you get them to know this?
So we got to get the word out. Okay, good, thank you. They have cards to fill out. So yeah, so everybody there's if you have additional questions, please give those to us. And there's a feedback sheet, right, that everybody needs to fill out. Yep, all right. Feedback on the exercise you went through.
We had a lot of conversation about just where money is spent and where money will be spent with the bond issue that's been put out. So just like from community members getting more transparent information out about what does it mean to have a safety upgrade or innovative upgrades, like what does that actually mean? So like real physical examples would go a long way. Yeah.
All right. So I don't think we told you. Here's one thing. You went through this exercise, and there's one thing we did not build into this exercise, okay? Yesterday, the superintendent told you that, or somebody told you that. The superintendent was down in Columbus. Ms. Sanborn was down with us in Columbus, and we went to see our legislators, okay? Someone over here said they were glad that we were advocating for ourselves. I'm sorry, right there. So one of the main reasons we did that is you saw that the state funding was flat, right? Okay? So that's determined every 2 years by the state budget. So what if I told you that in this year's state budget proposal, they want to take money away from us? Okay? So in the current proposal that's there, because what we went down to do is advocate with our area legislators, who also told us we need to talk to other legislators, because and I believe there's a teacher that went down today, right? The unions had their day today, okay, which was great, and it was the very same message, okay, is we're fighting to at least keep the same dollar amount. We should be fighting to get what, more money? Yeah, we're getting dollars at 2019 levels, and right now we're fighting just to keep that, when we want to be fighting to get more than that, okay? Because if we don't get more, where's that pressure? What you learn? Where's the pressure point? Goes to the local level. If they take money away from us, where's it go? Okay, we got to just find other resources, right? Local level or other resources. So, I'll be here to answer questions. So, the superintendent. If there's any questions right now for the group? If you have questions, fill those cards out. We'll get you answers to those. When we get a lot of the same questions, we post that to the website. If you haven't explored the website, there's a lot of financial information out there, okay, for you. If when you explore that you have questions, give us those questions, okay? We'll get those things answered. On the table are those charts, okay? The chart that is there will help you, if you live in this school district, identify, okay, what would be when the levy passes in May, what's the responsibility I may have as a wage earner who lives in this district, what's the responsibility I may have if I own property, okay? So that chart will help you look at that and identify that. If you got questions on that chart too, give us a call or let me know and we'll help with that, okay? So I appreciate, and so does the superintendent, so does Ms. Sanborn and all the staff here, you taking time out away from your family, away from your kids to come in a little bit more, learn a little bit more about school finance. Yes, sir, Steve.
April 8th is the start of early voting. So if we're talking to neighbors, we're going to ask them to get out and vote early and often, but at least get out early. But we keep talking about May 6th. We're going to lose, how many weeks is that, 4 or 5 weeks? If we think May 6th, it's April 8th. The last day to register for voting is April 7th. So the next day, they can register April 7th, and the next day they can vote. Anywhere. Well, Batavia. Board of Ed. Down on Main Street, Board of Ed. Up until, I guess when the polls opened, it'll be voting at Board of Ed. Board of Elections, excuse me. Board of Elections. So I just wanted to say that because I was on cruise control for May 6th, and it's a lot sooner than that. We've got 2.5 weeks to get these people convinced that this thing needs to pass. And
it's not only we need to pass it desperately, but it's also they need to go and vote. They can sit in their living room and say, I agree with you, it's great, yes, absolutely, and they don't go. They don't vote. So we really have to encourage everyone to get out. And I've heard it said, and I may be wrong, but I've heard it said that if somebody says absolutely not, I am not voting for that, don't waste your time. Go ahead and go to somebody else that might say, yeah, that sounds kind of good. You know, work on the people that you think you can get to go and vote yes. That's it.
Thank you. And Steve, you're on the campaign committee, is that correct?
I am, yeah.
All right.
Let me take that again.
Yeah. So, all right.
Let's steal it one more time. I'm going to just make a plea for anybody that would like to work on the campaign committee. Please get in touch with me. My name is Steve Shields. I'm heading up the community outreach. We need people for door knockers. We need people to pass out flyers. If you can take things down to the Board of Elections, any of that. But just get in touch with me. Dan can give you my number. Our committee started up about 3 weeks ago, and we're firing off on all cylinders right now. So thank you.
Good. Thanks, Steve. All right. And so I always let the superintendent have the last word and just went out to the hall. So, but anyway, appreciate you all being here this evening with us. Again, open to all your comments, questions, and what you have for us. So thank you very much.
Steve was wondering if you could get a copy of just this sheet here.
Yep. Yeah. You can. There's an extra one of these, 11 by 17.
Yeah.
Go ahead and give them that. And I think there were 2 copies of that. Give them one.